Layton, if you'd like to kick off and make an opening statement, we need up to 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Clock around.
Right there.
Good evening, folks. Thanks for having me here tonight. Thanks for having this forum here tonight in Decatur Township. I'm John Layton. I am the Marion County Sheriff at this time. I've been in this brown uniform for 40 years. 1974, I was sworn in. I was 21 years old, and I've been there ever since. Haven't gone to any other department, haven't jumped around from one department to the other. I've been a Marion County Sheriff's Deputy protecting you and your family for 40 years. In the area of the jail division when I first started out as a very young rookie. Then I went to the road patrol, patrolled Decatur Township and Perry Townships. I know the street you live on. I've been on it. I've answered calls for distress on those same streets. From there, after 10 years on the road patrol, I went into undercover. While I was in undercover, I took care of business in the area of vice and narcotics. Everything from illegal gambling, alcohol, narcotics obviously, prostitution. I closed down all of those. Remember the massage parlors on West Washington Street? Guess who closed those down as a sergeant on the sheriff's office? John Layton. What I'm telling you folks is if you went to the airport and you're sitting on a plane from Tampa, Florida, and all of a sudden they come over the intercom of the 747 you're sitting on and said, hey folks, you know, we had a pilot up here that had about 40,000 hours in jets just like this one. But he couldn't make it today, so what we're going to do, we're going to put in, now this guy's a good pilot, but he's only flown helicopters. Would you stay on the plane? The sheriff of Marion County has to have what it takes from the time they step in office. I under Sheriff Frank Anderson for 8 years as his right hand and his colonel. I was actually the sheriff for 8 years, and many times when Frank was not there. Therefore, I have been there. I have led that department before I ever raised my right hand and took the oath of office for sheriff. It's not easy. Every day, there's situations that arise that we have to face. Because I'm not only dealing with computer systems and brand new computer systems and 3 or 4 of them being connected at once, new computer systems. I'm dealing with human beings, the 1,000 employees I have. Other folks that are at this table with me who like the job, they work for a department here in Marion County who had, as we speak right now, they have 7 people working. 7 investigators on the street. That's it. You have to have been there. And like I said, I've been in your neighborhoods. I know the street you live on, between here and Perry Township. But after I went to narcotics and vice, 10 years, closing down massage parlors, buying dope. Then I went to child and elderly abuse, sexual abuse. That's probably why I'm so adamant about my sexual offender registry right now. And the fact that I have a deputy knowing where everyone is all the time, whether they're at home or at work. If they got out of prison on sexual offense, we know where they're at, what they're doing.
Right.
It's all about experience, folks. Thank you.
Carney.
Thank you. You said my name is Emmitt Carney. First off, I want to thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. I'm going to stand up so you can hear me good. For those of you who haven't heard my story, I spent most of my life helping kids, coaching baseball, while also being a law enforcement agent. The State Police of Kentucky, and 25 years as Special Agent of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. And during my time with State Police, I was assigned to the Southern District of Indiana. It encompasses about 63 counties. I've worked with just about every county, state, and local agency in the Southern District of Indiana. I've seen firsthand how law enforcement departments can work together and should work together to achieve the highest level of public safety. As a special agent with ATF, I was able to work with all levels of law enforcement. I have worked cases with DEA, IMPD, Secret Service, IRS, and the Marion County Sheriff's Department. The Marion County Sheriff's Department was very instrumental in me cutting my teeth at a young age. J.T. Jones, Gary Maxson, very instrumental in helping me. But I want to stress one thing. This isn't the same old sheriff's department. The sheriff has 5 responsibilities: managing the jail, providing building security, maintaining the sexual offender registry, warrants, and emergency communications. Over the past year, I've traveled to several neighborhood associations. I even attended the neighborhood association here throughout the county, meeting with neighbors, parents, and people and concerned citizens, just as you are. Over and over again, I hear that the Marion County Sheriff's Department needs to be a better public safety department. We do that by working together. We do that by instituting the best training, demanding the highest level of performance. We do that by keeping our costs low and our performance high. Friends, family members, I believe we can make the Sheriff's Department a better department. And I thank you for this opportunity to speak to you tonight.
Mr. Murphy?
Like Mr. Curry said, I don't know if you can stop the killing. What we can do is try to start the change with the culture. And if I become Marion County Sheriff, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to be more actively involved in the community. With the kids in grade school, with the kids that are going into high school, and I'll give you a couple of my programs real quick. I feel like that's what we got to do. Reverend Mel Jackson talks about when he was 13 years old. He ran away from home. He said he had to return home because his brother told him, "You go home and make good with your sister." And he said, so he did. And he said what she told him when he said, "I ran away from home and nobody came looking for me." He said he felt like he got kicked in the stomach. And she told him, "I didn't tell you to leave." But his point is, there's thousands out there, and we got to go look for them. It's like the kid on the beach. It may only save one starfish, but it's got to start somewhere. So what I want to do is I want to have the Marion County Sheriff's Department more involved with the community. I've talked to some people about trying to have a corporate sponsor with the POW Club. I want to change the culture of the POW Club. It aggravates me to see the POW Club, and then you see them on TV for football and basketball, things of that nature. We've got all these great colleges in the county, Marion County. Why can't we tap into these sources and say, hey, let's provide some tutoring with them. Let's do that. I want to create a first visit program that we run through the Sheriff's Department. The first visit program is to take these kids in the 8th grade, put your arm around them, take them to Butler. Not everybody can go to Butler, not everybody can go to Marion, but you know what? They maybe can go to Ivy Tech. Maybe they can use their hands. And get them on the campus and say, this can be you. You can get a Century 21 scholarship. Why can't we do that? And then we work with the juvenile, the younger kids. And then we want to address the juvenile detention center. And then the guys that are in jail. Everybody talks about rehabilitation. But if you go look up the word habilitate and rehabilitate, you find out that one, for somebody to be rehabilitated, they've got to be taught what's right or wrong. I use my niece as an example. She grew up in my house, my mom's house. She lost her way, went to jail, arrested, physically, sexually assaulted while she was being held in a supposedly safe place. But you know what? She got out, she turned it around. She's rehabilitated. We got to identify these guys that have social issues, mental issues. Spoke to a sociologist from Hamilton County. He's got a 90-day transition program that would target gentlemen getting out of the jail and trying to get them started in the right direction. I've talked to Reverend Jackson with the Clean to Green, or Green to Clean to Green program. They're needing funding. Why can't we help support them? I want to do a Set a Good Example award to try to inspire the kids that are in school to be as good as they can be. That's how we can do it. But the main way that we can help with a lot of this is if the Marion County Sheriff's Department stays within budget. And then within budget, maybe we get more police officers on the street.
Very good question. Let me start by saying that I agree with Prosecutor Curry that homicide is really tough to slow down once it gets going with gangs. I know this firsthand because I not only headed up, I founded the Marion County Sheriff Regional Gang and Intelligence Unit, of which we had every county surrounding Marion County as part of that, and all the schools in Marion County were part of the Regional Gang and Intelligence Unit. And we went out on homicides, and we went out and talked to these kids. When I talk to kids, I'm talking 12, 13, 14-year-olds that are getting involved in gangs. I was a true believer in a POW Club. As a matter of fact, in 1980, I founded the Marion County Sheriff's POW Club. I've been working with children ever since. And today, as we sit here, the Marion County Sheriff's Office has 81 programs. 81 programs in place. Many of those, a large percentage of those, are targeted at children in Marion County, in our schools. So it's already being done. The rest of them, you want to talk reentry. We've been doing reentry at the Marion County Jail for decades. I know, because I've been there for decades. We've been taking care of that business. Dress for success, how to interview for jobs, anger management, how to be a better daddy. These are the kind of things that have to explode throughout the whole county, not just inside the Marion County Jail. Get our faith-based involved in these kind of things. You know, I'm going to get a little sappy here, but I happen to be a believer. And, you know, in the book of Luke, it's mentioned, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but it's mentioned that you can move mountains with faith. But I haven't heard a lot of faith. I haven't heard a lot about looking to a supreme being for this help that we need. And I don't think it's going to get done without that help, folks. I'm an advocate of that. The Marion County Sheriff's Department will keep doing exactly what it's doing because we are on the right track, and we are on the right track. As a matter of fact, budget-wise, we don't provide officers for IMPD to patrol. So I don't know anything about that. We have our own responsibilities. We have probably no less than 20 to 25 responsibilities that the Sheriff's Office does. We do have 5 divisions, but we've got many more than 5 responsibilities. And one of those is the criminal unit, the criminal investigators. The criminal investigators that serve warrants and go out and pull the felons out of basements and out of attics every day. That's what the Marion County Sheriff's Office does. Trying to make it easier and safer for our IMPD officers that are on the street, allowing them to be able to do what they have the responsibility to do, which is patrol and investigate crime. Let's talk money. Let's talk money. There was a lot of money flying around this city just a couple of years ago. And I love new streets and new sidewalks. It's great. It's great stuff. But as you've seen, the homicides, and it's not just homicides, it's home invasions, where they break down your front door and come in and pistol whip you. But there's so much other stuff going on, you don't even see that in the newspapers, but my pager goes off every day. And it's really nice to be mugged on a brand new sidewalk. Priorities. Priorities have to be put in place, folks, across this city and county. And I haven't seen that yet. I plan on tackling just that. We're tackling it in many areas, including children, including people getting out of jail. We're doing everything we can to curb this violence for you. Working every day with IMPD in several different areas. And, you know, we do still have a little bit of that old sheriff's department left as long as I'm there. Just last week, we took over Southeast District. Sheriff's deputies were patrolling Southeast District for IMPD to let the IMPD officers go to a memorial service for one of their fallen. We work every day with IMPD and federal agents trying to curb this violence, and we'll continue to do so. Thank you.
Okay, the next question, let's go down here to the Indiana House candidates. For both candidates in the Indiana House, how would you strengthen the public access? So, there seems to be a lot of accidental releases from the jailhouse that this problem will be fixed. So whoever would like to go first, it doesn't matter which one goes first.
I'll go first. This has seemed to be one of the major topics when it comes to this campaign so far. And you know, there's a creed between police officers that we don't bear false witness on each other. And it's a shame that some of this has come out, because that's exactly what has happened here. Folks have known and been told and been shown proof that many of the releases is because of a perfect storm from 3 computer systems, mainly from the Marion County court systems, malfunctioning, sending us erroneous information. Well, then comes the human nature, or the human factor. The fact that we have deputy sheriffs that read these things, and when it says release, that's what they do. Then the court finds, well, wait a minute, we didn't really mean that. We sent this later on this other computer system. It is a mess. It has been a mess. It continues to be a mess today. Anytime you implement a new system enterprise-wide, and I'm sure many of you have done this in your businesses, there's glitches, there's problems, there's bugs. Those have to be worked out. Unfortunately, in public safety, it puts people at risk. But it's electronics. It's the wave of the future, right? And it's going to happen. The good thing is, you have a sheriff right now that's no nonsense. And the couple of times in the past, when it has been an oversight by a deputy or by an employee, we take immediate action. And I love my deputies. I've been there. I know what each one of them's going through because I've been in their shoes. And I take care of those deputies until they don't take care of business. And then I'll show them the door. I will suspend them, whatever I have to do to wake them up, because you paid for their training and you've paid their salaries for so many years. And then they get nonchalant and let someone out the door. It happens. It happens in every jail in America, not just the Marion County Jail, folks. And there's no shame in that. The only shame is if nothing's done about it. And this sheriff has, and I think you've read that. But let's not zero in on the one negative and make it look like that there's something nefarious going on with the sheriff's office. That's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, because really what it is, it's lying to you, the public, when people do that. And if someone would do that now, as they go through a political process, what are they going to do if they get the office? If they stretch the truth and don't tell you the whole side of the story and leave out that part, what happens when they do get the office? We signed a pledge. We signed a pledge for a clean campaign and sent it to the other side 2 months ago. Never seen it back. So these questions that you're raising tonight on these people going out the door and making it look like the sheriff's office or something wrong down there, that is a product of exactly what I'm talking about. Because who do you think feeds the news media to give them a story that they run with? Of course, politicians and minions and zealots of politicians, people wanting an office. Look, when all you can do is bring up dirty politics and half-truths and lies to get an office, you don't have anything else, that usually is a sign that you have nothing else to offer the people who are going to vote for you. So you won't see dirty campaigning. You won't see me talking about any of my opponent's problems within his departments, both down in Kentucky and with the feds. You won't see me do that. I'm going to talk about what the sheriff's office has done, what we're going to do, and as far as people getting out of that jail, they get out once in a while. They get out of every jail in America at some point. And the Department of Corrections lets them out by mistake once in a while. And then the state police go out and round them up, and they get them back in there. And that's exactly what the deputies in Marion County, the same ones that I said a while ago, go out and go in the attics and the crawl spaces and pull out fugitives, are the same ones we send after these guys if one of them happens to get out, whether it happens to be a deputy's fault or a computer glitch from the courts, which is the majority of them. Computer glitches has been the majority of them. Two came from sheriff's deputies. So, and they're already back in jail. They were within 24 hours. So, it's no nonsense, folks. And it'll be a clean campaign on my part. Right, Connor? Thank you very much.
I'm sorry that the sheriff feels like when we bring something to the public's attention that is dirty campaigning. I don't agree with that, but that's my opinion, and you know what opinions are what. What I will say is this. Bottom line, when you sit in the king's chair, the big throne, you're the man. The buck stops with you. And there's one thing we have with the federal government, acceptance of responsibility. Somebody comes in, they stand before the judge. Did you commit this crime? Probably the same with Mr. Curry, Mr. Merchant. Did you commit this crime? Yes. He accepted responsibility. Sometimes leniency is shown. If I'm sheriff and this happens, the buck stops with me. There's not going to be a transfer of blame on the deputies. Not going to be a transfer of blame on the computer. It starts and ends with me. It is my responsibility to go out here and make sure that my people know how to use a computer system, that we have a better understanding with the court system. And you know what? I think I misquoted one day. I think I said 8, maybe it was 6. But you know what? It's more than 1. It's more than 5. And there's more. I think that WRTV, or the TV the other day, reported. I didn't report to say anything about that. But the bottom line is the buck will start with me. If something happens, it's me. It's my watch. It's my responsibility. It's my house. It's just like my mom said, girl, you ain't gonna believe what Emmitt did. And she said, no, I'm not gonna believe what he did because I wasn't there watching. He can't be responsible for everybody. But the bottom line is the buck stops with me. It stops right here. I've got to take responsibility. I got to figure out if it happens one time, I don't want it to happen 2. If it happens 3, 4, 5, and 6, I don't want that to happen. So I got to get with somebody, and we got to figure out a system. And you know what? We need to have a checks and balances. I don't care if I got to have a carrier pigeon, run something over to the city county building, and come back. We got to do something. We got to figure out a way to nip it in the bud. Because all it takes is 1. That's all it takes. And you know what? Within 24 hours, a lot could happen within that first hour. And I know he's in a tough position. All I'm doing is reporting the facts. Somebody comes and asks me what I think about it, and I'm going to tell them just like I told you, just like I told the TV station. It's acceptance of responsibility, it's transfer of blame, and the buck stops and falls on me. It's on me. It falls in my lap. You know what I'm saying? It falls on me. So if it happens when I'm in there, trust me, I'm not going to blame it on the computer. I'll tell you what the problem is, and we're going to work on it, and we're going to figure something out. But there's got to be attention to detail. And I ask you this, are the same people making this mistake? If we're being true and transparent and clear, where are the supervisors? What is the process now? What can we do to eliminate this? We got it pulled together. If I got to have somebody sign to the, I would say, hey, nobody gets out unless we get a pink slip from the judge. And he better send me a fingerprint and blood and half of his finger on it, so I can say, okay, I got proof that he says let this guy out. But the buck will start and stop with me. It'll be my responsibility to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Next question.
As a sheriff, as a constitutional office, and as a sheriff, I took an oath to uphold the law. Judges make their decisions, and I will stand by those decisions of any judge, no matter what political party they may be affiliated with. That's the only thing a sheriff can do. A sheriff cannot really have any say-so over sentencing of convicted felons or misdemeanors for that matter. And nor will I try to inject any of my personal opinions on a judge as to whether someone should get more time for this and that. That is a different part of the criminal justice system that the sheriff is responsible for. And I do not believe the sheriff should interfere with the judge's decision. Those decisions made by the judges are made over years and years of experience in that particular criminal justice system and how that particular criminal justice system works for as far as judiciary. That is what a judge makes those decisions on. Far be it for me as a constitutional sheriff to step in and tell a judge, well, or even act that I would be a part of changing the sentence of someone or asking for more time. Those were the old days. That part of the old days I'm glad isn't. Politics, sheriffs, we all have our responsibilities, and we should stay in our lanes, especially when we don't know anything about the other lane. We should stay out of it.
Next question is directed to Mr. Carney, Sheriff. Where do you expect to get the funds to cover more sheriffs?
Repeat the question, please, louder.
Where do you expect to get the funds to cover more sheriffs in Marion?
First place we're going to start is internally, audit, do a review, see what we feel like is maybe waste management. Just eliminate that and start within ourselves. Try to be self-supporting. I've thought about this in my mind. Responsibilities change with the Marion County Sheriff's Department, but there's no need for a 22-week academy. We can do that in 12 weeks. We cut that in half. That's one of the places I would start. I'd also take a look into reserve that. See if we can figure out something we can work, maybe where we can tax them with that. I know they work for $5 a month, but the bottom line is we've got reserve deputies out here to get a car. There's 70 deputies at 70 cars, there's 70 set of tires, there's 70 oil changes, there's 70 tire rotations, and maybe we can say, hey, could be reserve deputy, maybe you can come pick your car up downtown instead of taking it home. They'll take the car home and drive it any and everywhere they want. And I look at that, but maybe make some cuts there. I'm not trying to do away with it, I'm just trying to save money.
The next question is directed to both candidates for the sheriff. Why do we have two sheriff's departments separate from IMPD? Why do we have two sheriff's departments separate from IMPD? I have asked if we have two sheriff's departments.
And actually, sheriff is not a department. The sheriff of Marion County is an office. It's a constitutional office. It's a department indicates that it's part of a larger organization, such as the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department is part of the mayor's office. The sheriff's office is a standalone constitutional office. So, and there's only one. There's only one per county, like the Indiana Constitution.
Everyone says two sheriffs.
Yeah, I didn't sleep in a Holiday Inn last night, so I can't cover what you said.
Yeah. All right. Next question is addressed to the sheriff. Why do some officers get to take home motorcycles? And then, to Mr. Carney, would you change that policy? So we'll start with you. Why should some officers get to take home motorcycles?
We have 6 motorcycles at the Marion County Sheriff's Office in comparison to IMPD, which has 46 motorcycles. And our motorcycle group, the 9 officers, the 9 deputies that are trained on those motorcycles, by and large, donate their time to ride in parades and these kind of things. And I don't know if any of you have seen the Angels, the Blue Angels of the Navy. You could probably ask the same question of the U.S. Navy. Why would you have these millions and millions of dollars in jets tied up just to do aerobatics for the crowd? Because it's a recruiting tool. We have 6 motorcycles. 4 of those motorcycles were donated to the sheriff's office. Okay? So it's not like we've gone out and blown a ton of money to have motorcycles and run around on. And those motorcycles are assigned to certain deputies, and they do ride them in the summertime and when weather permitting to deliver their greetings to our sexual offenders. And they're used at times to slide by a house for the warrant teams in a fashion that maybe they're not noticed if the deputy happens to be in plain clothes. Go by the house on a warrant team to see if a certain car is there. They're used for several different situations, but they are used as a sense of pride to the sheriff's office, keeping a piece of history alive and showing the men and women of Marion County that the taxpayers and the possible recruits that the sheriff's office is a place to come and be proud, which it's always been in the eyes of the deputies, and I believe in the eyes of the citizens who have forever lived out in the suburbs of Marion County. So they do serve several purposes. We had one reserve deputy who bought 2 Harley-Davidson motorcycles and took that from 4 to 6 and donated those motorcycles to the sheriff's office. Now, you can't get any more dedicated than that to a guy that only gets $5 a year. So, you know, he rides one once in a while, but it's owned by the sheriff's office now. I don't think you can say a whole lot about our motorcycles in any way, shape, or form, put down the job that those guys do, and the pride that they bring to the county and to the parades that they ride in. Ask any little kid along there if they like those motorcycles and those deputies that are riding them. That's why we have a few motorcycles on the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Mr. Carney?
I like the motorcycles. I keep the motorcycles. And I can tell you a true story. 2006, I took part in the Spanish immersion class with IMPD. And we were having trouble raising money to go to Chile, Santiago, for 30 days. To pay for, you know, plane tickets, things like that, fees. And so a guy introduced me to Rex Early. He said Rex Early was associated with the motorcycle drill team. And he said that they raised money and they often donated money to worthy causes. So Rex said, how much money do you need? I said, well, we need $10,000. Rex said, well, we're going to ask him for 20. So what did Rex do? He asked him for 20, we got our 10. But the Marion County motorcycle drill team made it possible for 30 IMPD officers to go to Chile and 1 federal agent at no expense. So I like the motorcycle drill team. I'm kind of jealous because my mom never would let me ride a motorcycle, you know, and I'm too old to try to take it up now. But no, that would be something that I think needs to stay. I think it's like an icon for the Marion County Sheriff's Department.
We're going to have one more question here, and then we're going to wrap this up here.
I thought we were going to take a break.
Well, we tell you what, we've been going an hour and a half. We can take a 5-minute break.
No.
I just want to time it so that we can get out when it's not raining.
Yeah. Hey, good, by the way, you all have been doing very good with thunder and lightning and everything. I've kind of got curious about this one. This is for the sheriff candidates. How would the proposed Justice Center affect the people of Marion County? I think they're talking about up at the old Chevrolet motor plant in an area called Valley Mine. I grew up in the area just west of there. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
How would the proposed Justice Center affect the people of Marion County?
Well, folks, I'm here to tell you that I cannot speak for the prosecutor's office and their needs. I cannot speak for the judges and the court's needs. I can speak for the Marion County Sheriff's Office. We've been in the same jail since 1969. Now, stop and think. Since 1969, what kind of technology has come about? How much money can we save the taxpayers of Marion County by acknowledging this new technology in a new jail? I know there's some folks that are mistrustful of the money and where it's coming from and all that, and I have nothing to do with that. I'm the sheriff. I don't hold the purse strings, and I don't make decisions for other offices that may and departments that may be housed at that location. But I do know that you and I and my grandkids, 8 of them all together, they need a new jail in the future. We're busting at the seams. There is no technology in that jail that is up to date. That's one of the biggest problems we have. It's antiquated, it's split up, it's very employee intense, that old jail is. When we get a new jail, wherever it might be, it will be, the pods where the inmates stay can be run by 1 deputy instead of 6 in some cases. The amount of manpower can go down, or wouldn't it be great if with 20,000 warrants out on the street, instead of those deputies going away and maybe being laid off, which I won't stand for, by the way, that they're reassigned to go out and serve these warrants instead of reassigned into jail, or go out and keep an eye on our sexual offenders, which I'm very adamant about that. We're going to stay on top of those sexual offenders. So I am an advocate of a new jail. We need it. I can't speak for the other offices and why the mayor's office and the controller decided to put this all in a big bundle. All I know is, as your sheriff, and keep in mind, there's a real good chance, good Lord willing, I am elected again. I may never sit in that seat anyway, even if I am elected again, because it's 4 to 5 years off. So I'm not fighting for a jail so I can have a nice seat in a brand new office and look what I've got. I'm fighting for a jail for my grandkids and for your grandkids in the next 40 to 50 years of this county, and what's necessary to keep the bad people where they belong and to educate the ones that can be rehabilitated. That's what I'm looking forward to. Thanks.
I talked to Al Bennett. Al Bennett's one of the most foremost authorities on jails and institutions throughout the U.S. I think he helped write the jail standards. And I think when it comes down to the new jail, I haven't been privileged to all the information like the sheriff has, but I want you to think about something. One, if you look at the way they transport the prisoners and everything now, it would be so much better to have everybody in a central location and put your courts there. Well, people are complaining that, well, how are we going to get there? Well, you know what? We got a transit system. How about we designate some buses that can go out there, you make a connection downtown, and it brings you back, if it's at the airport. I think we need to do that. But the other thing I want to say is, while we're building this jail to house more prisoners, I'd like to see us also do something to try to keep those numbers down and keep them out of it. And then as you as citizens, you need to be aware of too that even in Chicago, when they built the new jail, what it also helped do, it helped the neighborhood to flourish, because you bring in more businesses, restaurants, and things of that nature. So that's a plus side to it too. And I don't think anybody's broken out of jail and stayed right around the jail. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the last place you want to be. But I think that it's long overdue. I mean, it's a security risk and factor to the way the guys are transported, the general public. It'd be so much better if the city county did it with just a city county building, but then you had your judicial system with the courts, and they're all right there.
Okay, gentlemen, let's wrap this up. Let me read one more question or statement.
I appreciate you letting me speak tonight, and I will say this, it used to be that I knew Marion County from all the baseball fields I coached at in the Little League Association. Now I get to know all the neighborhood association, and I appreciate what you guys do, because now when I drive around, I can see what's going on in Decatur. And when I was here that night, I heard the lady talk about her history lesson of the community, and that's something that needs to continue. But when I'm done being sheriff, I want it to leave a legacy. I want the Marion County Sheriff's Department to be the gold standard. I want us to have some great programs, one of working together with the IMPD, the Public Safety Director, the mayor, and show other cities how it's done, that we're involved in our community, that we're one. And we have a saying in baseball, first will be best, then will be first. And I think once we restore that, the confidence of the citizens in Marion County, then we can show them what we're capable of doing and growing and maybe taking back some of the things they lost through the merger. But I really appreciate the opportunity to speak here, and it's just been a blessing to meet you guys, and now my phone has went from 500 contacts over like 3,500. And Russ McQuaid told me, he said, you kind of put yourself out there now. Everybody knows who you are. So win, lose, or draw, I'm still going to be actively involved in coaching my baseball and trying to make a difference with the kids that I come in contact with. So I'm giving you my time and my talent. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here tonight and to look each one of you in the face as I am your servant. And I teach every day those deputies down there that the public does not serve you, you serve the public. And I think it shows in what they do. Deputies make mistakes just like we all have made mistakes. And the difference is, or what the measure is what exactly is done about those mistakes. Whether you smack them on the hand like your little kids, you get them on the rear end, you ground them, you find a way to get their attention and bring them back around. And that's what we've been doing at the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Our very best. If it goes over the top, they're out the door. I am a no-nonsense, faith-based sheriff who believes in the Constitution. And that's why I answered that question a while ago. It's a constitutional office. And we raise our right hand and swear by the Constitution that created the sheriff's offices across America, actually, that we're going to follow the law, not try to make the law, not try to influence the law, but we are going to follow the law and we're going to enforce the law. And that's what sheriffs do. That's what I've been doing for 40 years. During that 40 years, I've had 5 kids. And I want to speak to that. I want to speak to my 5 kids because I'm very proud. 2 of my children are on IMPD. One of them patrols Mars Hill on Layton, and that's my 32-year-old little girl, Natalie. My son patrols Northwest Side on day shift. I have another daughter who is a lieutenant on the sheriff's office, and I have a son who's a captain on the sheriff's office. Through his degrees and his work, they all tested and trained to be police officers of one way or another. And why do you think that is? Watching their dad in the sheriff's office for so many years. And should that right be taken away from police officers or firemen? Oh, I forgot a fireman. My 5th child just graduated from firefighter school. He's a fireman now. They're all in public safety. And I'm very proud of that.
Time.
And I'll continue to be proud of that. Thank you.
Let's give a big round of applause for all these folks. Gentlemen, actually, I want to thank all of you for coming this evening, and that concludes our candidate forum. I invite you to stick around. We have several items of business that we've got to conduct here, but stick around if you so like.
Is it yet a voucher for Culver's for? Is it yet a voucher?